This last week, CentraCare doctors saw a fair number of patients coming in with mono infections. Mono, also known as acute mononucleosis, is caused by a virus, and the symptoms are going to be a sore throat, fever, body aches, and large swollen glands, typically in the neck. Now that sounds a lot like strep infections, like strep throat, which is caused by bacteria, but mono is caused by a virus and it can last for several weeks. And another thing that differentiates mono is that it typically affects teenagers and college students, because we as adults have had exposure probably in our teenage years to this virus and have adequate antibodies to protect us from infection. So it's probably the oldest person I ever saw with mono was 32, and that was very unusual. But generally it's going to be that teenager that comes in with the large swollen glands in the front of their neck, the real painful throat, difficult to swallow, and also swollen glands on the back of the neck. You have glands back here, and those can swell up and become very tender. And they may have been seen multiple times by a doctor, or they're telling me that they've had these symptoms off and on for a couple of weeks. That sounds like mono. Now, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to ride it out. The biggest risk is dehydration, of course, because if the child isn't taking enough liquids and swallowing enough fluids, they're going to get dehydrated, and that throat can become very painful, and it can take them out of commission for a few weeks. Now, this is the kissing disease, so don't point the finger, don't give your teenager a hard time. It is spread by direct contact with the secretions. Typically, adults at home aren't going to be at risk, but other children need to avoid contact with that sick individual. And you know, it's high school. These viruses typically go around that are very easily spread, regardless of what behaviors they're engaged in.